call use any sage.
Mr Chair, and would thank the Minister. It's always much appreciated when the Minister, the actual Minister, is in the chair and able to answer questions. And yes, it is a bill that has been around for a long time. But in my short call, I'd like to talk a bit about the SOP 206, which is in Mr Williamson's name, and because that SOP is really important because it deletes the provisions which the Primary Production Select Committee recommended be inserted, and those provisions would have allowed the Far North District Council to privatise public Esplanade Reserve at Walls Bay in Opua. And they would have allowed Mr Schmuck and his boatyard to take over much of the reserve for commercial boat building. And it's certainly been a long-running saga, which the Honourable Damien O'Connor spoke about in an earlier reading. It's been in and out of councils, the Department of Conservation, the court, it's been to the Ombudsman. And that saga has been largely because Mr Schmucki has wanted not just the right to move boats up and down the slipway in the reserve, but also to effectively monopolise it for his boat building business by doing water blasting, by repairing boats there, and generally using the reserve as part of his business. So the Green Party has stood alongside members of the community in seeking to protect the Esplanade Reserve and public access to it, because these Esplanade Reserves are important as part of the concept of the Queen's Chain and ensuring that there is public access along rivers, lakes and the coast. And the Walls Bay Reserve at Opua is an important part of the Bay of Islands walkway. And there's been quite a lot of concern in the community at Mr Schmucki's efforts to privatise it. And I think in one of the local media stories I saw, one neighbour pointed out that it's very difficult for people to go picnicking in the reserve if there's the water blasting of a boat occurring alongside. It makes the whole area quite unattractive for public use. And we were really concerned by these clauses being inserted in the bill because potentially they were setting a precedent for other business operators to seek to take over public lands, Esplanade Reserve, and use those for their businesses. And Mikey Marks, in her advocacy, called it a modern-day land grab. So we're very pleased that the SOP has been tabled and that it does delete these clauses from the bill. Because certainly the Department of Conservation was prepared to grant easements to allow boats to move across the slipway, but Mr Schmucki seems to have been quite litigious in not being content with that and wanting to challenge that at every opportunity. And I think now we have the Mayor of the Far North District Council, the Honourable John Carter, seeking to assist Mr Schmucki to get consents from the District Council. I'm not clear whether those have been granted, but it seems that it was his advocacy in Select Committee that resulted in the clauses being included in the first place. So we're very pleased with the SOP that removes them from the bill, and we are happy to support the bill, even though it does make a number of small retrospective changes to areas in Punakaiki where land is being taken for a road opposite the Pancake Rocks Walk, and that's now being removed from the park, and similarly other areas in Westland Taiputini Park and Kahurangi National Park which have also been taken for road widening. But be interested if the Minister and the Chair has any further information on where the Schmucki saga is up to, because it's certainly taken up quite a lot of time of this Parliament and other agencies, but we're very pleased that that is not going forward in the bill. Thank you.